Am I the a-hole for hiding my personal life at work? Welcome back to episode 2 of AITA, Am I the a-hole, where I read stories from Reddit and share my opinion and my views, and we discuss in the comment section. So let's go. Am I the a-hole for hiding my personal life at work? What? I'm in a little trouble at work because I've been sort of hiding my personal life. I've worked in this office about 9 years, working my way up. I'm notoriously, promise I can read. I'm notoriously private and also believe in a clear separation of work and home life. Me genuinely think that people need to practice this, right? She continues, with that, I never ever talk about home life. I'm not ashamed of my life. I just don't like to discuss it at work. My coworkers enjoy talking about their personal lives and often include me. If I'm asked any questions, I usually redirect or move on to someone else. Okay. Avoiding, that's all right. It's all right. In this manner, none of my co-workers knew I'm married, have twin daughters, and a very active personal life. Miss, you have to teach me how to do this because you're a whole wife, mother, and very active in your personal life, and then you manage to separate this from work. You have to teach me that. We hired Melinda last year and she took it upon herself to become the office snoop. Ugh, I hate these. I hate a snoop. She spent several weeks getting as close to everyone as possible. However, she does this to seek out potential useful information she can hold over people's head. Melinda, why? Try as she did, I never gave her anything. Yeah, Melinda, monitoring spirit. Melinda, you're monitoring spirit. My co-worker view me as a sort of enigma. Compartmentalization aside, I've made some great friends at work. There are more things to talk about than my husband and my kids. They are a big part of my life, but I'm not even going to martyr myself and say they're the most important. I get you. I get that self-love, you're deep. The compartmentalization, you're deep. Girl, you have to teach me this. They are usually important and come before everything else, but I'm not a psychopath and I enjoy the 10 hours a day I'm at work when I get to be an adult and talk about things more than JoJo Siwa and the newest generation's exploits. I get it. As a mom who have a daughter, I get it. I totally get it. Sometimes you need to take yourself away from mommy, from being a wife. And the bike made its entrance in my video. Yeah, and it exited real quick. But, as I was saying, sometimes you have to take yourself away from being a mom. You're not just a mom, especially when people ask you, who are you? And you start with, I'm a mother. Who are you? You know, so I completely understand separating who you are from who you are at home and who you are at work. I get it. So she said, last week Friday, Melinda came into work looking like the cat who got the goldfish. She's so excited. At lunch, she announced to everyone that I am married with 2 daughters, a dog, and a nice house. The audacity. Melinda, when Audacity did I give you there at the front line, we make it so enough. Make it so ups. She continued, she said, she told the people that lady played softball, she kayak and occasionally mountain climb, and that she's on Facebook. Melinda continues to see my post, however, She continues. She said she continues to see my posts. However, some of my photos are shared with others and therefore not private. I use a shortened version of my name, her name, and her married name on Facebook. So, you know, I'm not sure. She don't know how Melinda is an FBI agent. Melinda is an FBI agent. But why you got to work to do a job? Yeah, do the job. Why is it necessary for you to snoop about other people? Melinda, make it make sense, because this not making sense for me. You are an FBI agent, Melinda. You should, wherever you are working, it's very obvious that it's not for the FBI. And I think you should apply. You will do well there. You will do extremely well as an FBI agent. You should apply. She continued. She said, Facebook, she said she used her first name, a part of her first name and her married name on Facebook, so she's not sure how she found her. Unless she used white pages and put 2 and 2 together. I've already reported her to HR. Serve her right. She said that HR brought us both in and asked us what the hell is going on. I presented my side as detailed above. Melinda gave hers. She basically said that she had been trying to get to know everyone and she had been having trouble getting to know me, so she found my Facebook in effort to find something to talk about with me, and then she just informed everyone as BS. Melinda called BS bullcrap. This don't make no sense. If you wanted something to talk about, you could have talked about the pencil on the desk. Talk about the work that you're being hired to do. Don't you think? Melinda, make it make sense. Make it make sense, because this not making sense. You know? She continued, I asked my HR rep to pull up Facebook and do a cursory search for my real name. So, yeah, proof is in the pudding. Yeah, there was several. Then I asked him to search my married name or the one I go by on Facebook, and she gave him. There were enough for about 6 or 7 scrolls on the mouse pad. Melinda. Wow. Oh my God. Wow. It was about 30 names from the top, but like I said, my profile pic is my dog, not me. So you find her, Melinda? So she would have had to look at each thumbnail photo or view each account. I do have an Instagram page that's on private, but I only have a few friends, mostly family members. Under an Instagram page that's on private, mostly family friends, mostly family members, under the same name. She found me and friended me. Naturally, I blocked her. Server right, not enough. Oops. HR gave her a reprimand for creating a negative work atmosphere. My rep wasn't sure why Melinda felt the need to blast my info for everyone, and he called bullcrap, yes, on her for claiming it was innocent. What for you, Melinda? What for you? What for really do you, Melinda? What for really do you? Bullcrap for true. For true. She continued, but the problem is my co-workers are acting like this is a big flipping deal. One of my friends said she's hurt that I don't trust any of them and hold them in such a low regard. I don't love people business too much. And that's not a problem. I don't love people business too much. Because she don't tell her no our business. She never lied to you know. She answer no question when you know her. When you not come at her for know our business, she redirect the question. She never lied to you. Hello? We don't love people business too much. She continued, I try to explain that it's nothing against anyone. I just don't like discussing home, at work, and vice versa. And that's good. Enough will need to learn that trait there. I never bring work home. When I'm home, that's time with my kids or my dog or my husband or friends and hobbies. Heck, I choose to live an hour outside of the city in a small town just to avoid work when I'm not there. Oh, me need for lady, me need for know you. I've apologized if any feelings were hurt, but my coworkers are now giving me the chill and won't talk to me unless it's directly about work. Fine, that's fine. That is fine. Them love people business too much. I honestly don't see the problem. I've never lied to them. Same thing me that say. I've never given them false info. I've never made up wild tales about my life. I'm still the same person I was. Now they just know more about me than they did. Am I the a-hole? My opinion, you're not the a-hole. You be yourself. You learn how to separate your personal life from your work life, and you mastered it, and that's okay. If Snoopy Doopy Melinda never come in and ruin that for you, you will be just fine. Nobody would have malice you, nobody would have stress, nobody would have the problem. It would have continued. Everybody would have lived happily ever after. Amen. Melinda, you are the problem is you. So I'm glad the HR recognized that she was BSing all the time. What you mean you look, you go research to see what you and I can talk about? What did you do? What when you can't talk about the work? Melinda, stop it. And pretty miss, you are not the a-hole. Melinda is the a-hole in this story. Okay? Keep it moving. Am I the a-hole for looking at my friend's lower parts front?
What?
Let's get into this. I'm a lesbian and have been out since I was a teenager. I'm now 26. This has mostly been fine except for one friend. We'll call her Julia. She always makes snide comments about not wanting to be near her when we discuss girl stuff. I usually ignore it. Alright, somebody insecure. Alright. Julia insecure. Julia insecure because you can set boundaries without saying, oh, you don't want to be near. Julia insecure. Anyway, because lockdown has eased where I am, me and a few others, oh, this is a long time. Me and a few others decide to go to my friend Sasha's pool for a party. We were all getting changed in Sasha's bedroom. This is a problem because if Julia don't like when they're near and attack girl stuff, a problem this. In Sasha's bedroom, when I noticed a big black furry thing out of the corner of my eye, quite literally assuming it was a cat, I turned to look. Like a girl. Like a girl. What you mean? You assume it was a cat? You know what? Before I start, let me just continue read this. Make her continue. Nope. It's Julia pubes sticking out of her bikini bottom. Glad SpongeBob never did it. You understand me? I go over to her and subtly communicate that her literal front is hanging out of her bikini. I whisper, your pubes are out. And she spins around and calls me a pervert. You know, say you look a girl, you too enough too. Because you know Julia feel about these type of jig. Me would have just make Julia go on and walk with her pubes out. Because if me go to her, Julia gonna call me the same exact thing when she call you. Or what I would have done is say to somebody else, because Sasha would have must them, and I say, Sasha, come here. Julia lump clump and fall out her bikini. Till I have to fix that. Simple as that. You gone with your little bit of enough self. Too enough, man. You're too enough. Anything you get if you take. Yeah. So she continue. Not knowing how to react, I just stand there in shock as she berates me for looking at her. What do you expect she gonna do? We expect she gonna do. I decided that you shouldn't argue with stupid, so I laughed and went out to enjoy the party. A few minutes later, Shasha comes out to ask me what happened. I explained the situation with Julia, to which she rolls her eyes and tells me not to worry. The rest of the night was awesome. However, I'm getting texts from my friends telling me not to try and turn other people into lesbians. This sounds like the story spin. And that I'm a pervert. Yeah, man, Julia, turn the table. So, am I the a-hole for telling Julia that her front was hanging out? You're not the a-hole, you know, but you're enough. You're not the a-hole. You're not the a-hole completely, not at all. But you're too enough. Because you knew the stance Julia had with you. You should just tell it to somebody else and say, hey, this is happening with Julia. Look. You know? Tell her to sort it out. But you take it up by yourself. Look a bit enough, man. Trapped? We get her update. She says, I'd like to clarify that it was a lip. We knew it was a lip. Hanging out. Never thought I'd had to type this. You know, so she not take life serious. She not take Julia lip and her hanging out serious, you know. Her butt had sort of absorbed her bikini. Julia body big. Julia have a dunk trunk. Julia body big. Not something you see every day. I've been messaging my friends back and forth who have apologized. Yeah, Julia twist the story. I knew it. I told y'all. She twist the story. She fabricated for make it people up on fair side because she don't believe in your whole lesbianism. That's what she did. Apparently, Julia had told them something completely different, namely that I was staring at her area, as she called it, for a good few minutes before pointing it out. As I said, you can't really argue with stupid. Julia, you lie, and you're deceitful, and you're wrong. But pretty girl, you are at fault too. You're too enough. You could have avoided this whole thing. You never have to tell Julia nothing. You could have go to Sasha and said to Sasha, boy, Sasha, Julia lip is hanging out. Can you tell her please? Because you know if I do it, it's gonna cause the whole commotion. You could have done that. She said, anyway, I've blocked Julia on all platforms and have talked to her, to our mutual friends. Turned out not many people liked her. I don't have Facebook, so I hadn't seen that she'd been posting some pretty racist stuff. Julia, slightly confused about why she was even invited, to be honest. Me too, because if they don't like her, why them invite her? If they don't like her, why invite her? Sure. The era of being fake. Long time. We've agreed to cut her off and hopefully never see her again. This is the reflection of a lot of female friend groups. There's this one female where nobody don't like, but instead of them say, okay, we can't be friends, let's part ways, them sit down and them talk about the female, them group up and them chat. Like, what for do no? What for really do no? Really and truly, what for really do no? It is easier to say to somebody, this space here, you no longer suit it. We move on. What for really do no? Like, it baffles me how you guys entertain a friendship knowing it's not true. Stop it. You don't need to stop it. If your friend or if the person doesn't suit the criteria of being a friend, kick rocks and keep it moving. Like, life too short. There's so many other things that you guys could have been doing. So many other things. But you choose to befriend the girl, knowing a group of uno don't like her and they keep her under the circle. Knows that she's of bad character. Her personality traits doesn't mesh up to food one. And what she believes in her morals is not the same as you guys. Why entertain her? Too much for me. Grandma gave my son herpes. Am I the a-hole?
What?
Make we go down another one here. Am I the a-hole? Let's start from the beginning. My husband, 34 male, and I, 31 female, have the only grandchild on his side of the family. His mom, my mother-in-law, has always been a lot. From crying the day before our wedding to saying crap like I'm just not warm and fuzzy enough for her. Did I tell you she look? I have tried my best to be as welcoming as possible and bend over backwards for this woman. I never do that for no mother-in-law. I'm sorry. Miss, I'm very sorry. I never do that for no mother-in-law. Not even my mother, I bend over backwards for I love it dearly. But if I bend over backwards, my back are broken. With my back broke, I can't do nothing. I'm very sorry. Tension definitely increased when they decided to move states and bought a house 10 minutes from me. Mercy. My son, 3.5 months, is the center of his grandma's universe. I can understand. It's her only grandchild. I can understand that. It used to be my husband complained for many years that he abandoned her when he moved out. The Bible tells us to leave and cleave, miss. You don't read the Bible, miss? Miss? Bible tells us to leave and cleave. Yeah. And to be fair to her, she has been incredibly helpful with my son. Taking him to his doctor's appointment, helping out when he gets sick, watching our dog. Everybody have dog when he is in the hospital and so on. My son has an me know the word now. My son has an immunocompromised system that comes with a lot of health issues, received infusion monthly and so on. The baby sick. Baby sick, man. Baby sick. Well, my mother-in-law has HSV, herpes simplex virus, or more commonly known as fever bliss or cold sores of the upon her mouth. Have that upon your mouth, miss. We, my husband and I, have had over 8 different chats with my mother-in-law that she is not to have her mouth anywhere near my son's skin. Fair enough. Very fair enough. And as a big woman, she should have known that too. Okay. Them say no kissing, sharing straws, utensils, etc. She has broken this rule multiple times. So she do it multiple times. I don't know, hard for learn, hard for learn. Too many to count. Each time met with another chat from my husband and I. Love problem. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago, she comes over with an active open cold sore and gives him a raspberry on the cheek. Dirty woman. It's a baby for crying out loud with an illness. With an illness where you're sure you know about too. What we do, y'all? I immediately said something, but sure enough, 3 days later, my son wakes up inconsolably and complaining of lip pain. Woman, give the picnic HSV to backside. In the next 2 days, it was very clear he now has HSV. We got testing with his specialist. He sees, and yup, it's HSV. Used to blame to move boy up. Now I am no dummy. I know 60% of the population has it, and he could have gotten it later in life from a friend or such. But that isn't what happened. Excuses, excuses, excuses. The woman gave him another state there. He got it in a completely avoidable way. Not to mention, for those that are immunocompromised, the sores tend to be worse, more painful, and can cause serious health complications. This not nice. Grandma, why you do that? Why you do that, Grandma? So we tell my mother-in-law in a non-angry way, but explained what happened and that we need some space. The next day she showed. Ta-da! Ta-da! The next day she shows up unannounced at our house while my husband is working from home and lets herself in. Where she get key? 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 All right. All right. All right. Which one are they? Demands to speak to him. He was in a meeting. And first off, to him, the husband. And first off, refuses to take any responsibility. So she kissed him on the neck. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
And couldn't possibly be her fault. Meanwhile, I witnessed the whole thing happen, and it wasn't his neck. And even if it was his neck, we said no mouth on his skin. Well, my husband calmly tells her to leave because he is working and that we aren't ready to talk to her. Boundaries, mommy, boundaries. I am just heartbroken for my son. Just another medical thing to add to his plate. More labs and no needed to monitor his organs for the rest of forever. He will have to deal with outbreaks throughout his whole life. Just everything that comes with HSV. Yeah, man. Someone not really cure, you know. Not really cure. You just go away for your time and then you come back. And am I the a-hole for wanting to completely cut ties with my mother-in-law and just focus on my little wonderful family I have? And I really hear overall that still, remember, said the man of his mother is just about setting boundaries.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I genuinely, but I don't think that you are the a-hole though. I genuinely don't think that. Don't think that. I am tired of her passive-aggressive behavior, and this was just reckless and selfish, to be honest. She has been incredibly helpful, but, big but, that does not excuse this behavior or allow her to put my son's health in jeopardy. She was told so many times, and she chose to act selfishly. So many times. Just this time, her luck ran out. My dear, she have an update before I give my 2 cents. We have struggled without this extra help. Had to work with him at home on days he is sick, and I have had to take off work on several occasions to make doctor's appointments on top of all his other appointments that are planned. We basically have 0 paid time off left. Wow, but we are fighting it out the best we can. My husband has received several texts from my mother-in-law basically saying, poor me, let me see my grandchild. Lydia. So far, my father-in-law showed up last month yelling at my husband saying, "You don't understand what this is doing to your mother, and we don't even know why we move here." He then hinted at the fact that it was all my fault, and my husband very firmly shut him down, and then he stormed off. Your husband has stand up for you. I like a man there for you, girl. Like a man there for you. And then today, my mother-in-law shows up unannounced and tries to get into the house. We changed the code. Oh, it's a code thing, it's not a key thing. Smart girl. My husband texts her and says he is working and has asked for space. She basically says she doesn't even know who he is anymore and disappointed. She brighty. She then proceeded to call him several times and waited outside our house for 30 minutes until finally leaving. This is crazy. I am so happy we changed the door code. Strangely enough, my son has not once asked about his missing grandparents. We are honestly the ones struggling with our village no longer being there. But he hasn't seemed to notice at all. That's a child for you. Worse, he's at the age where just I live. We are at a loss. This has kind of shaken us through, and we are just emotionally exhausted. The guilt I feel is overwhelming. I know I am in the right, but it just feels so unnatural and it's killing me. I hate this whole situation. And they just keep giving us more reason to not reinitiate contact. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Chat. This is crazy. This is crazy. Sometimes setting boundaries, especially for your in-laws, can be really, really crazy. And what I like is that your husband stood up for you because he knew he was dealing with his family. And he had to set the boundary for his family. Even though you guys are both enforcing the boundary, he had to set it. Because if you had set it and he didn't, then there would be an unbalance in the system. So I like that for you, and I genuinely think that she overstepped her boundary, but some of the blame is why the child is sick, no, or got the disease, no. You can take some accountability for that, because the first time she did it, you spoke to her. She did it a second time and you spoke to her and you made it continue. No, 2 times too many. You should have stopped it on the second. Even say you're giving grace, the third should have stopped it. Should have said, no, we're setting the boundaries, and then it happened so many times, as you stated. Now the child has HSV on top of having a immune system that is easily compromised. So yeah, take some accountability. But I don't think that you're the a-hole. I think that you and your husband worked well together as a team, and you are doing this to protect your son and your family, and I love that. Okay. All right, we've reached the end of our series, episode 2 of Am I the A-hole? And share your views and your thoughts on any of the 3 topics I've shared with you. Let's have a discussion down in the comment sections below. Thanks for watching, and remember to follow me on all socials at Well It's Licia and subscribe. See you next week with more AITA.
When they say she get it from her mama,